Saturday. Let's just be honest. I've learned things in the dark that I could never have learned in the light. Things that have saved my life over and over again, so that there is only one logical conclusion. I need darkness as much as I need light. Barbara Brown Taylor. Phew, we made it through our first week of the season together. Everyone has picked up a weary world for a different reason, but I hope somehow you could find your reality in the story. While honoring reality is the best place to start, it can sometimes stir up trouble for us too. Pema Chodron, a Buddhist nun, has wisdom for us from her tradition. When something hurts in life, we don't usually think of it as our path or as the source of wisdom. In fact, we think of the reason we're on the path is to get rid of this painful feeling. At that level of wanting to get rid of our feeling, we naively cultivate a subtle aggression against ourselves. We think, if we could just feel or do such and such, then everything would be better. We also often feel that we're more messed up than other people, or we dismiss our own unique reality as not relevant as others. We minimize our seemingly ordinary pain in light of all the suffering in the world, or we find ourselves trying to find an easier fix, a shortcut, a bypass, anything to quickly feel better. In the spirit of honoring our own particular angsty advent, I'll say that minimizing and trying to find shortcuts are dangerous steps. Instead of owning our feelings just as they are and letting that be enough, we often try to find our way out of the discomfort as fast as possible. When we're mad, hurt, resentful, and ashamed, when the feelings don't go away like we had hoped, and the painful cycle continues. Another thing that often happens when we begin to honor our reality more directly is that others don't know quite what to do with us. Our culture isn't the best at grief, pain, and struggle, and the church tends to be even worse. Other people feel anxiety and fear around us when we're hurting and end up saying a lot of not so helpful things to try to cajole us into feeling better as quickly as possible. Usually these suggestions aren't about us, but more about relieving the other person's own anxiety. A lot of us don't have safe people to be brutally honest with, so we try to sort things out on our own and in our own head instead, which usually doesn't go too well. Anne Lamott says it best, "My mind's a bad neighborhood I try not to go into alone." Honoring our reality is not an easy task, but I hope we can each keep practicing it. I wish we could sit together in my living room or at the refuge and share what's really going on right now, what we've lost, what we're wrestling with, what's hurting, and know you are making it through this season so far. Saying that this Christmas is blue doesn't tell the whole story. In the midst of pain and strife are all kinds of good things too, some more evident than others. My hope is that we can own our stories just as they are, and that we can find a bit of kinship with the upside-down Jesus story in scriptures that starts with God being born in the least likely of places. I hope we can consider letting ourselves be mothered in ways we might need by God and others, and that we'll let what we can be, and stop trying to figure everything out, because some things just won't ever make sense. As we wrap up this week, remember, no matter where you are, it's okay. Honoring reality helps us practice greater honesty, and that's where we're going next week. But first, consider trying some of the practices and group reflection questions for this first week. Honor your story. Find yourself in the big story. Listen to someone else's story. A prayer for honoring reality. God, help us to live in the places that don't make sense. Help us to keep hobbling through the hard. Help us to remember that no matter how confused, broken, tired, or faithless we might feel, you are with us, and we are part of your story.